We'll start with the transportation budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to start with my general fund. Budget.
We have a file called mineral fund.
General,
Oh, okay.
general, 13.
Just
Yeah.
go for it.
Both.
Yeah, let me get.
Okay, that's your regular transportation, but not the, well, not the 1% of
Diesel
the,
Johnson, who's a, Mr. Chairman.
just the regular transportation.
Correct, yeah, the first one. Okay.
We don't have that number.
Okay,
Go ahead.
everything's pretty much status quo, Mr. Chairman, as last year. Biggest increase to my budget this year will be fuel. And we increased that by $60,000, just because of obviously the fuel costs, so.
You sure it's gonna be, Chairman?
Yeah,
You're gonna do this.
right, right. Hopefully it starts coming down, we'll see, so. Then under service agreements, our annual fireworks, 5,400 a year. Our schooner septic, that is a outhouse at our Riverton Lost Wells pit. Our ongoing MSHA training once a year, still 5,000. B&T fire extinguisher, we did raise that a little bit. Larry informed me that we're gonna need some new fire extinguishers updated.
Not me.
Yeah, Larry sucked with B&T fire. New hire advertising, still at 2,000. Our wasters dues at $250 a year. DEQ water permits, $1,000 a year, and our state land investment board permits at 500. So
Overall, the status of your budget is just status quo, or
status quo. Yeah, besides my fuel, Mr. Chairman,
Right.
at 60,000.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
You got the Forest Service,
Forest Reserve back this year.
back this year?
Yep, did.
That's great.
Yep.
where does that funding go to? Which account?
My account
This
at
one.
Atlantic City,
This one.
personal account.
It's not that anymore.
Not what he said.
The BB.
No, so it's it shows at the top of your revenue there.
Hey.
That
Right now.
they get the gasoline tax, special fuels
Yeah.
tax,
His account.
and then the forest reserve, and you can see from last year, we
Oh.
estimated the 92,000, which ended up being actually more than that. And then they'll get the 550 was what Jim and I helped with the revenue. Well, I didn't actually, Jim did help with the revenues on this, so they're looking at, I'm sorry, I'm looking at what this year's was. So next year, they're looking at 780 for gasoline tax, they're 1,300,000 for the especially fuels tax, and 550 for their forest reserve. And their total of revenue, this is the account where whatever's extra at the end of the year or negative at the end of the year. So whatever their revenues are here, their budget here should at least be somewhat in line, which it looks like it is. They have it a little bit under what that amount is. Of course, these are all estimates. But at the end of the year, this is where Jim either takes money and puts it in the balancing account to be used for roads, or we have to augment it because they've gone over.
Questions on general budget? One percent updated? Is that the next one?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, okay. So you want to explain the updated part, how we got to the confusion and
So the form that Emma just gave you guys, the new spreadsheet. Shows an increase of 263,000. When I put in one of the line items, which you'll see in the spreadsheets that I gave you, the detailed ones. Like it's, what's it going right there? And it will be the third page.
Contractual service?
Contractual services, yes, it starts out with, Haymaker Bridge.
Yeah.
So the very last line there that says number 7 Willow Creek Slide did not save in gravity when I put it in there. So that's why you have the adjustment,
The updated one.
the updated
We
one.
got that one.
You have an updated spreadsheet that, Emma brought over to you. It's a small little spreadsheet.
Oh, that's one?
Yeah, yep.
Didn't look like that one. Correct.
No, so, this is different than what's on your computer. And there's a difference, like I said,
See, mine,
in. Sorry, go ahead.
no. What number is different? The contractual services?
The transfer to capital projects. I believe it's the one that's saying, that's gonna be different. Yes. That one, and then also, yep, and for the 2027 budget request.
Number.
What it did say was 69 or 6,901,500.
What it did say?
That's what it did say. Because the 263,000 for the slide did not save when I put it into gravity.
So that's the difference. There's one.
It's still,
I got the one you want me to have, and it's in the system too.
Oh, okay, so she wants to just save it. Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah, just update, okay,
We just
sorry
have
about that.
PDFs that can go into one
okay,
Okay.
folder,
okay,
and so it's current.
PDF
Okay.
is not right, is what it's saying.
perfect. So, yeah,
PDF is not right.
The PDF is not correct.
There's,
Updated, yeah.
okay,
So they do have an updated in.
okay. That's where I printed this from.
Just now. I just put it in. Yeah, if you refresh, you have nothing. Okay.
So the Riverview Road. We talked in a conversation that that may go over.
correct.
Any idea how much?
Not at the moment. I asked the contractor slash the engineer last week to get myself and the city of Riverton kind of an estimate. We're thinking ballpark of around 700,000.
A piece?
No, together, total. So have a heads up for this board. Some overruns and some engineering mishaps. That was missed in 50% plans all the way to 100, so just a heads up to this board.
So there ought to be a way that when they miss those engineering mess ups, they ought to be liable for the cost.
Right.
And they do ought to put it in our contract.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you know how to fix that?
Hire different engineers.
No, have your own engineer. Just saying,
Don't start with it.
just saying.
And you don't start with it.
Gee, what happened to all our engineers? Mr. Chairman. Sorry, I'm being a jerk.
Well, you don't have enough, there's not enough time allotted in this agenda for that.
So I'll go down through the contractual services for this upcoming year. Haymaker Bridge, it's ongoing. That's my bridge replacement with, efforts from YDOT. Gigs Bridge, it's almost shovel ready. I left 500,000 in there. We're hoping to get that grant from the Bureau of Rec save the county about $4 million. So
4 million?
that's kind of the engineer's estimate, yep. Then Dutch Ed, it's an ongoing project out here north of town. Riverview Road, which we talked about, it's still ongoing. I did put in 600,000 for snow fence, up to Atlantic City this year. Then usual hot mix, we do 800,000 a year. Then a new project is Willow Creek slide up Willow Creek out south of Lander. I wrote sloughing. There's a canal below, a smaller canal, and get it piped and build our shoulder back up. So,
Is that right off of Lions Valley?
no, it's further south, Lions Valley, before Red Canyon turn off, or, Rollins Junction. So. That's my 1% less per year.
Questions?
You still got the representatives from the tribe on it still or not? When you have a meeting for the one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Shoot your lines, forgot his
I
name.
know one of them was David Snyder, but
Yep.
I can't remember who else we got that, because the other job, that,
No,
or did you get somebody?
we have somebody in there.
Yeah, Mr. Snyder always shows up and,
I was gonna say Smith, but I don't know if that's right.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Joe?
Yes,
Yep,
Joe,
Okay,
yes.
yep.
Okay, but yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you did that.
yep, they're very active.
Awesome.
Yes.
Any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman, what is,
Yeah, I just a quick little gate bridge. This,
I bet I could.
what the status? I had somebody ask me about that.
It is almost 100% plans. It's gonna be shovel ready. I was gonna budget 4 million in this year's budget. But we're looking at the grant with, Bureau of Rec.
Okay.
So hopefully they get that grant out, we can get it applied for. And then Bureau of Rec will take care of that bridge funding one.
Okay.
So hopefully real soon they'll get them grants out on the internet. We'll apply, so.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, which two projects are gonna go over on the one?
Just Riverview,
Okay,
yep, number 4.
by about 700.
That's my guess, yeah.
So the total was 2.5 million?
That was the county share, plus the cities, they budgeted 2.5 also.
Okay,
Yep,
so we're each getting hit.
right,
Okay.
yep, so it's,
So,
met with the city of Riverton, they got more infrastructure. So they're paying 55% of the project, county's paying 45%.
so, it's a $5 million project. And it's gonna be over 1.5.
No, it's $700.
700 each. right?
It's the split.
It'll be split,
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
that's kind of our estimate right now,
Okay,
without putting a hard pencil to it.
okay. So I'll be sure. Thank you.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
so it'd be about 250,000 to the county if we split it with the city.
Okay.
Anything further? Any questions on that?
Next up will be road construction. Okay, same thing here, Mr. Chairman, it's kind of same as last year, carbon copy, like under service agreement, weed spraying, I got 15,000 there for weed and pest to do all my delineators. Engineering services of $1,000. Then my DuBois contract with TY excavation, 150,000. And I do want to talk on that. I will be putting that out to bid this year. My DuBois contract, I've had other interest in different companies wanting to go after it, so I will be going out to bid for that. Then my yearly striping and fog lines. Tree service, tree removal of 30,000. Engineering services, mine says 150. 150,000. Then guardrail repaired and replaced, 150,000. First dam bridge engineering, I didn't know where, I just put the money in there just in case we do look at solutions to upgrade the bridge or do some work on it. Then my mag and my material, 650,000. Salt and sand for winter projects, 50,000. Then signage, new signs, replacement signs, 30,000. Miscellaneous safety devices at 20,000. Then my equipment lease, that's my 100,000 I get from road construction. If we want to set that aside for savings on a blade. So,
Can we hold on to that annually?
yes, we can build the savings account.
Okay.
Yep,
So with the MAG amount, I know this for next year's budget,
correct.
but since one was short this year, you'll have a surplus, correct? For this year's MAG?
Correct.
Is two boys the same with water? I mean, are they short?
They're not, our Union Pass water supply, we're getting ready to start up their mag tomorrow. Where we usually pull out of, we have to go plumb to the other side of the pond. And Harold Albright built this ramp down in there to where we back our water trucks in there. We've never had to do that before. So we will have water. Then the town of DuBois, I reached out to them when we move further east, DuBois area. They're more than willing to let us pull out of their water hydrant. So
For a fee, right? For cost.
usually we prep some roads for them
Oh,
and then they shoot their mag or whatever they need help with up there. Mr. Chairman. That's it, for my road construction.
questions on the road construction?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Billy, did you say the 150 for engineering services should be not $150, right? 150,000?
Yes.
Okay, because that, it doesn't add up right now if you have 150,000. I mean, if you add, I think it's gonna be more.
It should be correct on the PDF, Julie. It's
Okay.
my
Is
error.
it still 790? Because I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 90, just adding without the $150. So I'm just making sure that your numbers are what you want them to be.
On the PDF. that you guys should have
Or
from
here,
gravity.
it's fine. I'm just saying, should it be changed here so that it reflects the
Yes.
real number? Okay.
Yes,
It should
Sorry
be
about that.
1,805,500.
For the
No,
contractual,
if you're looking at this
I'm looking at it.
spreadsheet that I gave you,
940.
that's the one that should be 940 on your PDFs that you got from gravity from Emma.
It's,
It is all correct.
okay, so this piece.
It was just my error in missing a few digits.
So on where they pointed out, what is each line item, if you want to know that for sure, so you would change that to 150,000 and the bottom line should be 940. Just this one, sideways one, or this one,
Just 900.
sideways, maybe.
Just. No changes in revenues. Just slight change.
Slight change.
Questions on the road construction fund? Okay.
Yeah.
No question.
No, it's good. It's over, I just have a question on the other road. Is a sewer line in the highway, is there, or is there a sewer line in that?
There is on the west end of our project, sewer line is outside of our paved lane, but then it ducts in as you head east down Riverview.
Okay,
than Corpse Fire and all that, then it's dead smack in the middle of our center of our Crown of our road. Yep,
okay, that's good too.
Yep.
Why I ask is, you know, in the future, that's probably developing out that way.
right, yep,
Like, wonder if it was in the highway or.
Yeah.
where it's at.
Yep.
Thanks, that's all. Okay.
All right,
okay,
thank you.
thank you guys.
Not worth it.
Yeah. Won't go through line by line, I don't think, but, you guys wanna hit the highlights of your budget message? Yep. General fund is comprised of 4 budgets. As you can see, we're looking at an increase of about $3,130, that's 0.003%. I think about 2,700 is for an increase for fuel costs, telephone costs, and replacement of a laptop computer is the lion's share of that increase. Another $800 increase with Pioneer Museum on the elevator service contract. That's how it goes up annually every year. And then $700 in Riverton was kind of an increase in electricity. We offset part of that increase by moving trash over to self-generated budget, and water and sewer over to self-generated budget, so we were able to offset a portion of that increase, so we tried to keep that general fund, 4 of them together, be as small as possible. Increased was as close as we could to what it was last year, which you can see the difference in the 2 totals. Self-generated, there's a bit more to that one at this point. We're looking for, as far as our estimated income and expenditures, you'll see a number of the budgets are right in line with what we're working on with for revenue from the self-generated. The one that is, you'll see the biggest offset is Pioneer Museum, where we're estimating 75,000 in revenue, and we're looking at $96,000 expenditures in that one. Typically, I'm fairly conservative with the revenue. So we're on self-generated. Yep, we removed the self-generated. And a couple of projects there that we're looking at doing for the Pioneer Museum. One, the shop has dirt and gravel for a floor, so we're looking to get concrete poured in there. And then we received, or actually the foundation received pretty significant donation. There was earmarked for the Ralston collection, you know, familiar with that collection, art that came out of the Noble Hotel. 3 of the pieces need conservation work that we're not capable of doing in-house. And so a gentleman who wants to remain anonymous donated $15,000 to put towards conservation on those 3 pieces. We're working on trying to get the estimates on what that's going to cost. Likely we'll probably only get 1 or 2 of those done with that amount of money. Generally speaking, this past year was pretty successful. We've been ahead at all 3 museums in our visitation, and our revenue is up pretty good for this year with a month left to go. We'll see if that continues, but so I'm optimistic if we can maintain where we're at with our revenue, keep our self-generated expenses kind of in check. We should be able to manage our operations pretty successfully without having a significant impact on the reserves that the self-generated revenues have. One significant change you'll notice for the Du Bois Museum, there is an additional budget this year for 7022. We got a pretty significant donation from a gentleman from Du Bois, around 130 some odd $1,000. He earmarked that for his wish. He passed away anyway. His wish was to have that go towards capital construction, maintenance, restoration, those kinds of things. So we set up a separate budget so we could, make sure it's focused on what his wishes were. That 12, in that budget, you'll see $12,500 budgeted. We're lined out to do the sill log replacement and the foundation replacement on the saddle shop, one of the historic buildings up there. So that's kind of the newest thing you'll see in our self-generated. We figure that there's a pretty significant amount of money for the Du Bois Museum. Given a little bit of interest that should accrue, we should be in good shape for continuing to do restoration and maintenance on a number of things for the foreseeable future without having an impact on the rest of the self-generated revenue that's there. Riverton, not going to see a lot of changes in their budget, self-generated budget for this year. While their revenue is up this year, visitation is up this year. Still want to be pretty careful with Riverton's budget, given where we are. We're going to be sort of maintaining our status quo there. Questions? Fastest thing on two legs right here.
Okay.
All right.
No question.
I'll get this. See, just got the stained glass moved out of the.
Yeah, that was,
building.
we worked with, Methodist Church. And this was 2-3 years ago, probably. They wanted the windows, and so they paid to have them removed, and filled in with what we did, inside and outside. Essentially, the stained glass windows have a negative impact as far as light and heat in the building, hard enough to maintain any sort of museum environment in that building as it is. And stained glass just made it that much worse. So a net positive for us to remove those windows and assist with our collections management efforts. And, went to a good spot. Church got them back in there, as far as I know, on display there. So, but yeah, I think that's been 2 or 3 years ago, probably we finished that up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So much.
Anita, come on up.
Is that down?
Yep.
Is there like stuff right here?
Wait, sit there. Yeah.
It's in the budget, it's in the budget first.
Hello. Going.
Good, you.
Surprised that,
You read for me.
that's not a bad thing, but that's why I came so early, I guess. It's Commissioner Wilson, you wait for her. She's gone. Okay. Oh, 123. Great. Meetings from the library. So really, the budget message for both the general fund account and our self-generated revenue has all the notes in it on particular. I didn't put the line item numbers in there, but just the, the heading. Because that's, you guys you're smart and it's self-explanatory. So just starting with our 775 general fund budget. I think, do you want me to just like read through my points? Okay, all right.
Not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing.
Summarize.
Well, I think basically, you asked of us to present a status quo budget, and so essentially that is what you're getting. But there are some things, out of our control, increases to service agreements, fuel, utilities, things like that. So the only increases in our budget are due to increased expenses beyond our control. So in the current year, there was a $300,000 reduction in our tax distribution. And so we just tapped into some alternative sources. One of which is our combined interest fund with the Wyoming State Library. And that was we've talked about this before, that was money that we put in there from a few years ago when the Senate File 60 changes kicked in and there was unanticipated revenue. So, using that money and then a $100,000 grant from the Library Foundation helped us to mitigate the impacts of the $300,000 reduction. So I do want to read number 2. So the goal of the library has been to preserve public services and accessibility to services as much as possible, despite our budget limitations. 1 year ago, during the budget process, the commission asked for particular impacts that the budget reduction would have on library services. I provided a variety of budget scenarios and the general impacts of each reduction would have on staffing and hours and of public accessibility. And the commission asked for very specific impacts on programming and services. And those specifics were difficult to predict because really the library's goal is to find the means to continue our services and programming as fully as possible. And our mindset is where there's a will, there's a way, because we understand the essential role of public libraries to the intellectual, social, educational health of our Fremont County residents. So I just want this year to be a good working relationship between myself and you all as you're making budget decisions. And as you have specific questions, please, contact me. And, one thing that I want to mention that's not in here, and this is just subsequent to submitting this, I've talked to a couple of our Library Foundation board members, and I've made the same request to them
for an operational grant for $100,000, and they have not made a decision on that yet. And in the current year, they've had to sell some stock in order to fulfill their grants to us. So really, I'm here to, go over our budget, but also want to make the request that's in number 3 on page 1 of the budget message there, is to ask you all to consider restoring some of our tax distribution as a way to relieve financial stress on the Library Foundation's funding. The assets they have are invested, and the more they have to sell stocks and things to have liquid assets to fund us, that reduces the power of their endowment or their fund. They can't tap into their endowment base. But so just respectfully asking you to consider that. Lost my mic. The shifting of general fund expenditures to our special revenue fund particularly burdens and reduces our collection purchasing budget. Therefore, we would like to move some general fund expenditures back to that budget when possible. And so really overall, we know that the county is still having difficult financial decisions to make, and we hope that that's not going to be forever. So from my perspective, leading the county library system and looking for ways to sustainably fund us, I hope that we can work together to look to the future, and as the economic situation improves, that our budget can gain back what it has lost. So I know that there might be limited capability to do that for this next fiscal year, but we're making the request that you would consider that. So in particular, revenue budget notes, I think we've covered some of this. All right. And so point on page 2 of the 775 budget message, number 4 at the top of page 2, unanticipated tax revenue. And just, if there is unanticipated revenue over what we were budgeted to get from tax distribution, we would like to apply it to maybe not requesting the last $25,000 from the Library Foundation. So far, they've contributed $75,000. We've transferred $75,000 from our CIF fund account from the state library, and really just kind of waiting until further into the month of June to see what the tax distribution is going to be and where exactly we're at. So Jim Anderson and we'll just be following this really closely to see what our situation is. So under expenditure notes, budget line notes, our salaries and benefits, it's all going to stay the same. We have 21 total positions. We haven't requested any salary increases. When we did the SOC, the big SOC project, so like a year and a half ago, like end of 2024, beginning of 2025, we, with the rest of the county departments, we adjusted our wage levels according to SOC standards that you all wanted us to do. So I feel like in terms of SOC, I feel like we're still caught up. So, until maybe next year, there will be a green light. So at this point, then, we would just be looking at employees who, through education or years of service would be eligible for a pay bump, but I have not included that in our budget request this year. So that in our salaries related line items, the first part of the current fiscal year, we had some positions that were not filled. And so we're not going to be spending 100% of our budget for those things. All right, then just into like the details. So utilities, the budget request shows a 5% increase for electricity. Natural gas and propane, we reduced it a little bit. Water and sewer shows a 4.5% increase. And I try and keep up with what the municipalities are doing. Equipment repair, you can read what I have. I mean, it's really any adjustments that we've made within this budget is just to reflect, okay, what were, actual costs. I think it was equipment repairs where this year we spent more than what we budgeted, but we shifted money from another line item within our facilities related items to balance it out. So, we're going to be finishing the year pretty much. I'm down to the dollar, but I'm confident that we're not going to be over budget at all. And, hopefully just with the inflation adjustments that we've made in our line items, we'll, be able to do the same next year. Do you have any questions on
Any questions so
these?
far?
Mr. Chairman, so what drove the equipment repair line this year? Did you guys have some breakdowns or something?
I think, gosh, I wish I had my spreadsheet here. Really really maintenance things. Our facility supervisor is really great at keeping up with what the needs are at each building. And so, we've got all like 21 heat pumps or something like that at Lander. So I can't tell you, I can't remember specifically, Mike. I could show you my spreadsheet.
No, it's, I just, I'm always worried about deferred maintenance, because it can catch up with you. If there are big things, I would rather you come back and say, hey, we're experiencing some breakdowns and this and that, and rather than just automatically defer it. You say, we're not going to exceed the budget. Okay, that's my only caution.
Right, and that's, we really have tried to anticipate things. And I know one thing that has got to be on the horizon is the Riverton Branch Library, the elevator. It's it's old. This year they increased our service agreement cost. I don't know, it might have been, not a huge amount, but they're signaling to us that this is an aging elevator system that's going to be harder to get replacement parts for. So, this coming year, we'll start looking at what that means, what that looks like, what possibilities they have for, I don't know. I'm not an elevator girl, so.
Everybody their elevator service contracts have increased
Mhm.
that we've talked to so far.
Right. Well, really, do you guys use Otis for here? Yeah, there aren't too many options, really. So, anything else on this one?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Now, let me, if I got this correct. You took out X amount of dollars last year out of the collections account, operations. Are you putting money back in or are you taking?
Well, so that account with that unanticipated revenue, we wanted to use it over time for collection development. That was its original purpose. It would be like the plan was, a minimum of 10 years, it would provide about half of our collection budget. And, it's easier to raise money for buying books than it is for paying the light bill. So, it was tax sourced money from minerals. And so repurposing it just seemed like a logical thing to do and a good use of our resources. And actually, this year, I think, the public is aware of the county's, financial challenges and the challenges to the library budget. And so we've actually seen an increase in donated items, donated books, donated movies, that has been an unexpected support to our collection development. And, it would be great if that continued every year. But as I said, just in order to minimize the impact on the public, we really did not want to reduce our staff any more than the 3 positions that we lost. Because anymore, and we will have to reduce our open hours, and that's hard for the public. So we just deemed that a wise use of a resource that came from the mineral taxes.
Okay, so do you plan on using it this year? Budget?
It is included in
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I just wonder if we could kind of summarize this conversation around the general fund. In general, you're asking us to consider putting $100,000 back from the general fund to fund the library, so you're not having to go for the grant. That's basically the big thing you're asking for, and there's no
yes,
significant change.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the request.
Then pretty much it's same year over year everywhere.
Yes, and so, I mean, I think just looking at the numbers, the increase is just under $5,000, and that's,
So would you
Yeah.
need the entire 100,000 or the 75,000 if you don't draw the other 25,000?
well, so we have the opportunity to draw the other 25,000. So thinking into next year, it's just going to be more difficult for the foundation to, they are doing additional fundraising efforts to help support our budget. And I think they're, waiting to see what you all are able to do. And if you're able to put that much back in, and you think, well, okay, maybe not 100, we can't put 100,000, maybe we can do 80. So that just helps them make their decision. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, if you had mentioned 100,000, but up to date, you've only taken 75,000.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I still can ask them for the other 25 because they've committed to it.
If you don't need it in the next 29 days, then you wouldn't need the 100,000.
Well, I'm actually, so, the 25, that would apply to this fiscal year. So for the next fiscal year, and that's what I'm talking about, asking for an increase to our tax distribution to offset that financial burden on the library foundation. So the request, they've already approved our special revenue fund grant requests for the coming year, which is a total of 42,000. So, that's,
Julie,
Anita, I'm looking at the general fund, right? We're in Germany. Yeah. Okay. So under the revenues, I show that you don't have anything for 200,000 that you had last year. So your private grants was 100,000 last year, and other miscellaneous revenues 100,000, and neither one of those are marked for this year at all.
okay, so that, when we met for a pre-budget hearing, I think I did not add those in after we had that meeting.
Okay.
So it should be there. We'll just need to add that.
both of them or one?
Well, you know, definitely the state library one,
Is that the private grants? Or
that
the
is the
other-
other miscellaneous revenues, so that's in the 48890,
That's 100,000.
right?
Okay. And then the private grants, is that the one we're talking about?
Private
from the
grants,
foundation?
right.
Is that
48
foundation?
48380, and, you know, depending on what the foundation is able to do, you know, I would ask the library board to consider taking more from our state library account.
Okay, so if you would look at that and consider what like the least amount that you could get. And then what I'm doing for the commission is I'm keeping a spreadsheet of questions. So we'll come back to the library and go, hey, they only put 25,000 in here. Last year, this is what they did to bring their numbers down to where everybody or what we were asked to do.
Mhm.
And so then they can make decisions after we see the big picture. So I think I need to let you back in and put that 100,000 back in, or I can, or you tell me the numbers to put in here.
I think let's put in 100,000 and 100,000. I mean, the goal is, you know, 200,000 would be the most of alternative funding that we could come up with again for one more year. And then if the commission is able to offset that by adding back some of our tax distribution, you know, that'll be great.
And you're asking for how much of that, excuse me, Mr. Chairman? How much?
I'm up to $100,000. I mean, I'm knowing. I mean, I know that I can make a request, but it's you guys
So
are making the decision,
And
so.
basically that would be the tax funding. So up here last year, we did $580,673 for the tax, property tax. So
Right,
you're saying in that area to allow that to be 100,000 more. I mean, we don't know that it's going to be 580 to be clear
Right,
to everybody in the
right.
room.
Yeah.
Okay, just so I can make sure what I put on my spreadsheet.
right, and it's, you know, as we talked about at the pre-budget hearing, all the, like the vehicle registration and the property tax related things aren't, that I don't fill those in. Jim populates those.
We'll finish. It looks like we did the vehicle registration. We didn't do some of these others, so I'll ask Jim if when we're wrapping this up, I'll fix
Yeah.
this for you.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
and then we'll send it back out too. And then the other question I have is your telephones are up, so I'm just asking, are you on the new telephone system thing that we're doing over here?
Yes, and so I haven't changed that line item because we still do have, because of Du Bois, the location of Du Bois, we still have to have, a separate internet service. But, you know, Range, there are changes with Range because they used to be that you had to do a package of internet and telephone together. So that line item should go down. I just do not know
Okay, but it
how
doesn't-
much exactly.
It does
It's-
not include new telephones. Like we were
Well-
asked how much we're supposed to pay
Right.
per phone.
Yeah. So do you still have, let's just make sure we're
I have
looking at the same.
6,200, which last year it was 2,610.
Right, so that was kind of the estimate, including
The
if
new
the library
funds.
was paying for its portion of the new funds.
Okay, so I'm just trying to keep track of that. Who did that? Who did not? So, okay. So
Right,
new phones.
yeah, so actually, you know, if that goes away, then we might be just really close to what.
Range did you get that letter saying?
I did,
That Range is no longer gonna serve internet?
not,
Find a new subscriber by July.
wait a minute, so what I recently got was not
So what?
about that they're discontinuing internet service, is that what?
I got.
That- Okay, huh. So no, what I got was a rate increase or a notice of like,
I got this letter a month
Hmm.
and a half ago saying that they were gonna discontinue internet service and we need to find a new provider.
Okay. Well, that's special.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Well, certainly there's somebody that handles Du Bois, right? Speaking of a whole sensor right there right now.
Holy mackerel, always something, always a shoe to drop. Okay, all right, well, I will look into that.
We can check, maybe not for Douglas, but I know for us.
Okay. All right,
But I thought the letter said that they were gonna discontinue internet service.
all right, well, okay, any other general fund questions?
Okay.
Okay, so, so for the special revenue fund,
Self-generated?
self-generated, yeah. Yeah. So that budget message starts on page 7. You know, so really our self-generated revenues are fines and fees, grants, donations. I don't know what else you need to know. I think we're just, you know, we've got a couple grants that we've received that are pretty cool. One is for enhancing library services to adults with disabilities. So that technically has started, but that grant runs through the coming fiscal year, and a $10,000 grant from the Carnegie Corporation that actually the Library Foundation has that. They received the funds, so they have it in a restricted fund for us to use in the coming fiscal year also. You know, really just our self-generated revenue budget is just the same kinds of things. Our estimated total revenue that we're hoping for in the next fiscal year is about $180,000. And that's all 4 funds together. And, you know, I just always have to give the shout out to our friends of the library and our Library Foundation volunteers that work hard to raise money for the library system or the individual branches. Okay, any questions? No.
Questions, commissioners? Don't hear.
Sure.
So your countywide programs,
Mhm.
they've increased from 2,900 to 14,000.
You know, that has to do with grants, specific grants. So like that Carnegie grant, $7,000 of it is going toward programming. And so that grant actually, some of that programming money could be used. It's $10,000 total, and how we divide it up is up to us. And so part of it has to be expended for 250th Declaration of Independence celebration kinds of events. And then some of it can be used to improve our Carnegie room for enhancing it as a meeting room space for the public. So there are some things that we can do to make it a better resource for community use. And then and then 5,000 of that programming money is from the other grant for services to adults with disabilities. Yep.
Questions? Yep, go ahead.
Sure. What is the difference between the Friends of the Library and the Library Foundation?
So, the Friends of the Library, their efforts are specific to the library branch in their town. So Riverton Branch Library has a Riverton Friends of the Library group. So that Friends of the Library group, money that they raise is to enhance, to support the Riverton Library specifically. So each library has their own friends group. The Library Foundation is a system-wide entity. So the money that the Library Foundation raises benefits all three libraries, the whole library system.
Because that's
Yeah.
one, you gotta receive a Lander donation computers, but
Mhm.
you weren't gonna put them in the river. So that's why I'm wondering how it works different. Because we seem to be all one system here, but
Mhm.
yet we're separating one group from another. With Du Bois one.
Well, so
How does that work? How does that benefit the county, I mean, as a whole?
Well, so the Lander Library Friends Association received a grant from the Lore Foundation, and the Lore Foundation, their work is specific to the Lander community. So there are restrictions on that grant. And, I mean, I guess we could wait until we had funding to replace all the public computers at all three libraries, but that's just not the best way to go. So we had an opportunity to get a grant to replace our public computers at Lander, and we took the opportunity. And so now, we'll be looking for funding in order to replace the public computers at Riverton and Du Bois. And, in the past, some of that money has come from the ISS account. So, Kevin when Kevin was here. So the county ISS had a section of the budget that was specifically for the libraries, library technology. And, this is because I think it was 2018 or 2019, we used to have our own technology manager for the library system. And part of, reducing our budget was to eliminate that position and bring our tech services under the umbrella of county ISS. So that's another topic actually I wanted to ask you all about. But in terms of, I'm not going to reject a grant just because it can't buy everything we need for the whole county. It was a good opportunity. And we're actually using some of the newer computers that we replace that are coming out of Lander. If it's a newer computer than what Riverton and Du Bois have, we can update Riverton and Du Bois with those computers. So they're benefiting and they're waiting until we can get funding to purchase new computers for those two branches. And that's something that the Library Foundation, we could make that request to them. Right now, that's a difficult thing to do because we're asking them to do so much for other things. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Julie?
so on your private grants for operations, we talked about part of that's at
grant, and then I see your collection development is up, so I'm assuming there's somewhere in there that's helping you increase that by 13,000? Is that right?
Okay, point to where you are.
So
again.
the private donations is up by $32,000, and then and we talked about the Carnegie being part of that, which is like 10.
Okay,
And then down below collection development, your books, you're up to 13,000. Is that where some of that's coming from? Is a grant there? Is that where that is increasing for you guys there?
so,
Because the rest of them are pretty static. So I'm just assuming you got a grant or got more money from somewhere
And-
to increase your collection.
and you're on the 771,
Yes,
is that right?
7711, yep.
So I did a breakdown in do you have the notes column listed?
No, none.
Okay, so it's like, so the breakdown of that, where that's coming from, fines and 11,000 from fines and fees, 20,000 from the library foundation, 5,000 from the LTC grant, 3,000 from the Carnegie grant. So that's the particular breakdown. So in the notes field on gravity, I tried to like break out every anticipated revenue with an amount and then match it to an
Okay,
expenditure.
so I see that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all I had on that one.
So I think there was, one thing that we talked about in our pre-budget meeting with Jim and Julie was it had to do with the money that we transferred from our state library account for collection development and not having a way to indicate that in our revenue section. And this is a quandary that we've had for a few years of because it's considered an asset account. It has that kind of line item number.
Is it reoccurring?
Well, it's
Distribution or?
well, that's, the big fund, when we would do when we did a distribution to our Wyoming Community Bank account this year. And that, because it was set up for the state library in prepaid accounts. It's so complicated, I'm sorry. Prepaid accounts to pay a vendor that, the state library had an agreement with, so you get a little extra discount when you're ordering. So we kept money there that, so a prepaid account, and so it's not, when we transferred some money from that to our Wyoming Community Bank account for each branch, it's a transfer from one account to another, but there isn't a place to show it as a revenue so that we can balance it out with our expenditure. So that's something I don't know.
I think the big thing- yeah, I think the big thing on that is trying to be able to show the public how that works,
Right.
because it's a government accounting thing where it looks like a shell game. So
Well-
we talked about a better way to do that so that and your board knows,
Right.
and then the public would know how that works.
where it comes from. Because actually, like on our financial statements, it would look like that we were spending more than what we had. We were spending money that we didn't have, which we don't do. So that's a, like a, I don't know, a
Kind of a
Cassell
side
configuration
thing.
that we've
Yeah,
got to
it's not
figure
gonna show up
out.
on your budget.
Right, so
yeah,
it's,
that's right.
yeah, that's
We'll get back to that one and let you know, but I think
Right.
that it was just something we wanted to be able to give them a tool to show you all so that we could put it in a budget,
Yeah.
stuff out on the website, so.
right.
Any questions?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate your time.
What time did you start?
We started early.
Yeah, because everybody else is coming to visit.
Yeah,
To be here at 3.
yeah. Unfortunately, we started early because museum and transportation didn't take
So Miss Mr. Chairman, in the fair, I told them maybe to come 15 minutes early, so I would maybe if your library board has anything that they would like to visit with you on it, then maybe give them that time.
When they get here, we can ask and,
Yeah.
and, and then we'll take a break for till 3:15 and.
Well, most things have been running pretty smoothly. I know that they, we did all agree, I just came in at the end of that conversation, but we did agree to purchase the
We're back in session. Anita, did any of the board members have any questions?
Here, or she just, anyone is online. Is anybody online this summer? We don't have online here unless we send out. No. Okay, there are, library foundation board members here, if you had any questions for them.
I don't,
Funding revenue stuff.
I don't think we have any questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Good afternoon. So we'll start with the general fund, and if you want to go through the highlights of the budget message, we don't necessarily, well, we don't want you to read it word for word.
All right, we won't do that.
Okay.
So, our building and facility rentals have seen a 15% increase over this past year. And included in that is also usage from 4-H and FFA, so some of those are non-revenue events, but we've had over 1,200 booked days this year. It's been remarkably busy. We are gearing up with fair and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but I visited with Emily. We had a couple, I'm on the wrong budget. We wanted the general, didn't you? I'm sorry. I'm like, no wonder my brain and my mind, sorry, let's start over.
Try being in our shoes.
I can't even imagine. Playing with this was a lot, and I apologize for the delay in getting our information to you early. So we made some increases in some of our line item expenditures just due to the cost of goods and services going up. We've adjusted our electricity and gas to align with the rising costs and the lack of winter that we actually had this year. Our costs were down somewhat, but we obviously weren't using as much as we have in the past. So we adjusted those just slightly up. We left the water where it was. We didn't adjust that one because we had disconnected the water services to the vet house. Since it's been vacant for 3 years, we went ahead and just decided to shut that off. We did have to increase our contractual expenses a little bit. There was extraordinary circumstances last year with some of our contractual expenses, but a lot of our ongoing expenses are higher than what had been budgeted in the past, and it's been that way for a few years. We kind of looked back on expenses for the past couple of years and tried to adjust within that as well as what we had done in the past year. We are increasing our ask a little bit there also because we need to get a couple of apps to just kind of streamline some of the office stuff. So and those are minimal costs. One of them's like $200 a year, so it's not much there on that. The actual cost of our insurance has risen this year, so there's an increased ask there. And most of the charges on, miscellaneous are slightly higher just because of the credit card expenses that go in and out through Clover, which is our point of sale system.
Do you charge the additional like 3%?
We do. So those kind of fluctuate through on different line items, so it does balance itself out, but we do charge a 3% on every credit card processing fee. We are requesting to add in a couple line items that were removed last year. The advertising out of the general fund, we would like to do a couple ads for 4-H week and FFA week. We've typically done those in the past, and then with cutting the budget last year, those were removed. And that was definitely a good call on that, but we'd like to add it back, just small little block ads, because those are both a very important part of our fair community. We are asking to add back in $1,000 for training. That had been removed also. But we've had so many changes in personnel over this year. It's just necessary to get a little bit of training done again. So we're asking for $1,000 there. And I don't know if you all are familiar, but most of our entertainment bookings for fair and a lot of the activities for fair are booked through the conventions. There's 2 big fair conventions, actually 3, but only 2 that we're interested in this year. There is the Rocky Mountain Association of Fairs, which is our regional fair organization, and then the Wyoming Association of Fairs. Both of those conventions not only offer the opportunity to see different acts, different entertainment availability, they also offer training and classes to just expand and to roundtable with other fairs and see what's working for them and what's not. It's a sharing of ideas. So we're asking for a budget there of $2,500 so that 2 people can attend those conventions. That way, if we were to have some sort of change somewhere, there's hopefully somebody still on board that's been and attended and can continue to do bookings if somebody were to drop off. So we would like to have 2 people go there. We've increased our fuel budget as per the recommendations of the county. And then we are also asking the $80,000 to be allocated for the annex again. Actually, I think we upped that to 85 for the annex again for the employees' salaries and insurance costs on that. Are there any questions on that?
Questions, Commissioners? Guess not.
Okay. Here we go, the fair self-generated next, since I really was eager to start there apparently. Or would you like to go to the annex next?
No changes in revenues or?
On the general, that's all money that comes in through taxes.
Okay.
Our revenues will come in under that self-generated.
Self-generated?
Okay. So as I said previously, when I was so excited, we've seen over a 15% increase in usage of the facilities over this year with 1,200 booked days. For the extension office, Tanya's doing a great job at really adding a lot of activities and opportunities for the kids to get involved. So they've been using the facilities a lot. We've been short-staffed this year, as you know, in a lot of areas, and our current employees have really stepped up to fill in and get things in shape. We have hired a new custodian, and he's a go-getter. So we have a lot of things on the books for the fall season already. We're already getting pretty full for October, November, December. Our weekends are pretty full. Our staff and board, we work diligently to build relationships with outside organizations, and they come back, they rebook when their event happens, they rebook for the following year. So we have a lot booked out for the next year and the next few years. We're striving to get more activities into the Grand Arena. After the loss of the Indian Tour Rodeo, we've been trying to make up for that. So we have got the Shrine Circus coming in, High School Rodeo, CWC Rodeo, and the Monster Truck group that came last year as a standalone will be returning this year. So that generates revenue in that area. The Wind River Rodeo Roundup has moved off of Fair Week this year. They're trying to generate more participation from cowboys on that week prior. It's easier for them in their travel between frontier days. So they're trying to generate some more participation for that. So they've moved outside of fair, but we will have a general contract with them, which should produce close to the same amount of revenue that we were making on that rodeo when they were part of fair. So we'll still ensure that. We had a very late start on planning entertainment this year, just due to the extenuating circumstances that we had.
So the board and staff have really been working hard to get a lineup going. Our focus this year is on our community, on our county. And we've got some of our returning favorites, and we've also added a powwow this year, and we're excited to have that. We've got a group of people that are working to coordinate that, and it'll be a great event. We've also moved family, instead of family day, the Sunday prior to things opening for fair, we're going to have a family night this year when the animals are in place and people can, and the exhibit halls are open. So people can come see those things and actually participate in fair that night. We're moving the bread fed known beef show to that night. We want to give our community exposure to all the different aspects and areas of fair, and we think that this is a great opportunity. There'll be demonstrations and other things going on as well. In our admissions line, there was some reports that weren't clarified, and so Emily over in the treasurer's office wasn't getting an accurate view of which night event and the finances were coming into. It was just a broad admissions. So after visiting, we've come up with a way to get her the proper reports so that there'll be a more accurate description instead of just this $90,000 admission line. We've come up with a plan to get those funds divided into the night that they actually were generated so that we have a clearer view of what each night is bringing in. So that,
I think we have that.
there is a breakdown, yes. So there is a breakdown for each night, but for whatever reason, there were a portion of the funds, and we believe it was probably credit card charges that were at the booths rather than through online purchases. So that, by getting that corrected, and it was, I mean, it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just the reports weren't generating properly. So we've corrected that, and there should be a much clearer view of what's actually brought in for each night show. So that'll help a lot with that. Figure eight races, as always, are our biggest generator. We have 4 per year, 1 for spring fair. We're getting ready to have 1 this weekend, 2 during fair itself, and then we've added last year an end of summer race, which was really successful. That was a great plan to do that. So we've continued that this year. The Wind River Rodeo Company that produces the DuBois Rodeo will be doing a rodeo on Wednesday night. So we will still have a night of rodeo during fair. That's important to a lot of our fair community. Ranch Rodeo will be returning this year. Like I said, the powwow is new, so we're excited for that. We anticipate a lot of participants for that, a lot of dancers coming. There's a prize level. We're doing a full-on powwow, not just an exhibition powwow, and it'll run for the course of the day that day. And monster trucks are coming back, and they're bringing lawnmower races with them, which is something that's been requested by people for years. So we were really excited to have that opportunity. And Hog and Mud. And as I said, we're really focused on community and our whole community, not just fair families. We want to bring in everybody in the county. We've got some plans to have some activities that include some of the outlying areas prior to fair to try and get them involved and really get them wanting to come and attend fair and be a part of fair. We're committed to keeping our expenses as low as possible, but costs are rising across the board with everything. So we're trying to be really careful in how we're spending money and be conscientious of where we're doing that. But as for everybody, our donors are also getting hit, those businesses. So some of their giving has dropped because it's costing them more to do business. So we anticipate a little bit lower income there, but the board has really stepped up and they're out pounding the pavement, helping us gather donors and sponsors. We set rates for judging this year so that we can kind of track that a little better and have more of a allotted budget for judging in the future. We pay them a flat rate and then we pay them the government rate for travel. And this year, we had to pay a little bit more for some just because we were a little late in procuring our judges. So we've tried to keep most of the line items consistent with where they were. We've needed to increase in a few expense areas. We've analyzed some of the expenses from the last couple years, and where they've been consistently higher than the budget ask, we've gone ahead and brought our budget ask up to what we know we're spending, especially with dues and subscriptions, those types of things that are consistent and non-changing. We've brought our budget ask in line with those. We haven't necessarily on a lot of those changed what we're doing. It's the same thing, but costs are increasing, and that's the uptick on some of them, and just under budgeting. So we've done that. Some of our contractual obligations, our rates have gone up a little bit, so we've increased the ask a little bit there. Friends at Fair will be taking over the beer garden again this year. They had done it in the past. The fair had taken it over for a couple years, but we're short-staffed and short volunteered. So rather than hiring someone out to do it through the fair, we've opted to let Friends of Fair take that back over, ensuring that in some way in the future that money will be given back into the fair. So it still stays in the fair, it just won't be in our budget. So that line item of income has dropped, as well as the expense line for that. We were awarded an $8,000 TAD grant this year. That's up $3,000 from the prior year. So that'll be a big boost for our advertising budget. We are trying some different avenues of advertising this year. So
Excuse me, did you get that TAD grant from Wind River Visitors Council?
yes. So we've got that, and we're trying some different avenues of advertising. The way the world's changed with so many things going digital and print not being as popular, we're kind of trying to spread out a little bit. So we've done that, but we think we're going to be able to save some money in that regard as well. So we just thank you for your support of the fair and for working with us through these trying times. Any questions on that?
Questions on the self-generated?
Where, yeah, where are you gonna do the powwow? Is it, you say it's an all-day thing?
It is.
That's gonna be going?
It'll be in the arena, in the grand arena, and it'll start at 1 in the afternoon. And they'll start with the youth during the day, and then at prime time, showtime, we'll have the adult dancers at that time. But we're working closely with a group that's coordinating it for us, and they plan and coordinate a lot of powwows through the region. They were actively involved in the one recently in Jackson that had a huge turnout. So we're really excited to do that, and we'd like to make that an annual event, even if it's not necessarily during Fair Week in the future, that we would host a powwow annually is our goal.
Well, it takes folks time to learn. There's a new location.
Yeah,
To get people to get used to it and expect it.
yeah.
Any questions on self-generated credit?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
See, you're gonna have the beer garden.
We will have the beer garden, but as I said, Friends of Fair will be taking that over this year, and that's why we removed it from our budget.
Can we make sure that they have tips training?
They do.
Wait in the back, make sure.
Yes, everyone that works in the beer garden is tips trained. It's been that way for several years, and we will continue to do so.
Okay. Fair and
Mr. Chairman, one more question. So I know you're being really conservative on your revenue. You don't really expect it to be that low, do you?
Well,
And it's okay to be conservative in the budget
yeah,
process, but
no, I really am hoping that it'll be higher. It was
Okay.
just hard
I guess.
to come up with figures the way we had the problems with the way the admissions went through. And that's due to we run through our website and the credit card processing. We have increased ticket prices this year, but we also know that, it's costing us more to bring things in than it did. Things that we've had for years, we're paying a couple, $3,000-4,000 more for this year than we did in the past. But no, and we're gonna do everything we can to
make those revenues higher than they are listed, but we do want to be conservative. We want to be reasonable
No worries.
and realistic.
Yes.
So I can help answer. We talked about this yesterday. So since you don't see it unless you're looking on your computer, so last year, when they're looking at their revenues for this year and trying to figure that out, they are $73,000 down from what they thought they were last year. So in our talking yesterday, we talked about, we don't know, they got new acts and stuff, and so we were
No worries.
sort of kind of fine, but I just wanted you to know that they already saw that they were low last year. So.
Yeah, I get that, Ms. Chairman, yeah, nobody wants to base a lot of decisions on a forecast that you just don't
Right.
know, you don't have good data, so it's okay, I just, I'm looking for a gut level there. Good, I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
There.
So you'll notice again, some numbers have changed on the annex. They're not where we had hoped they would be this year. There's been an increase in membership this year. We're excited for that. We've changed the membership. We had started, and we knew there would be adjustments. I mean, it's a new venue. It's a new plan for us. So we've adjusted from the memberships running January through December to a rolling, you can join any time of the year, and your membership is good for 12 months. That has helped increase membership, and word of mouth and people knowing that it's there has really helped increase. We would really like it to be significantly higher than it is, but we're glad to see the growth that we've seen. We have several events. We've had a cake sale this year. We're trying to kind of expand what's going on. There's one of our monthly meetings that actually used to meet down at the main fairgrounds, has transferred their monthly meetings to one of the smaller classrooms up at the annex. So they'll be meeting there. We have a archery group that is meeting up there in the winter months to do indoor shooting. And we've got several summer barrel races in the lineup. We have 2 on the books right now, but more coming up the pike. We're fortunate that we have a board member who's very, very active in the horse community and horse world. She has great ideas and connections, and I think she's going to be really instrumental in bringing more activities and just awareness of what's going on up there. The Annex Advisory Committee has been reactivated. They're working on creative ideas to bring revenue into the facility. They've got a lot of ideas and just experience in that arena that they can bring to help bring more activity and more people in. We were able to regain, we had last year received a grant for $7,000 that we had to return the funds. Fortunately, we were able to regain those funds. They need to be spent by the end of this month, and that group is working hard on getting that done. It was the grant for the trail course. So she's working on getting those things purchased and installed. With the installation of that trail course, we anticipate that we will have an uptick in rentals and usage. That's a popular event, and apparently there's not a lot of venues around that they can do that have a permanent course set up. So we're excited to have that in place. 4-H again has been able to offer things that they haven't typically been able to offer in winter months. They've had a few animal shows, they've had a gardening class. They are really loving the availability of using that indoor arena and the farrier area for wool judging and different classes. As you know, we've been plagued with issues with employees at the annex basically since it opened. We have currently hired a part-time groundskeeper. So he's making sure the arena's prepared. He's been spraying weeds, doing that. He is part-time. We'd really like to look at hiring a part-time promoter type position, somebody that has experience in that area to start getting out there, pounding the pavement and recruiting events, membership, and just bringing people in. So we're looking at that idea. So we've left budget money. It's still within the same a monetary basis as we were with one full-time employee. We just didn't see the need for one full-time employee right now because of the usage levels being not quite what we had anticipated they would be at this point, but we feel like having the groundskeeper and then someone that's actively promoting will be a huge benefit to us. So that's something that we've got in the pipes. We are just working on how that can best be met and how we can get that person in there.
So your request, or you mentioned 80,000 plus for employee, 80,000 for salary for the annual. So that would that be in addition to the current salary?
That's
or-
the same 80,000 that we requested last
So
year
that would be, I mean, you would share the 80,000.
between the two part-time employees, yes.
And just to be clear, I think on your other budget, it was 86, and we should add it in on the revenue coming into this one, the 49,760, 86,000, looked like was on your budget.
Yes, that is correct.
So that should be added in here, making their revenue 111,600, just so that we can be clear on that. We can get that fixed. So
The revenue?
revenue coming into this.
Right.
Yeah, right now it says 25,600, but if you add that 86 coming from the other fund, it would be 111,600. We just need to add it at the bottom of that page where it says transfer from fair general fund. That was that 86,000 that they mentioned in the general fund that would be transferred to the annex. On the first budget we had.
So as far as expenditures go, with the mild winter that we had, it's really hard to judge what our winter expenses would be with a normal winter because that is it's a big metal building. So while it looks like the expenses weren't that horrible, we want to leave the budget and leave room for higher costs and the utilities for next year. With the inconsistency of a solid employee up there, it's a little also hard to judge supplies and upkeep because it's been so scattered. We've had our staff filling in with the arena, but nobody's really been there for a significant amount of time to really determine exactly the day-to-day. And even I think we haven't even discovered some of the upkeep things that we need to handle until somebody's been there for a while. So we do have those expenses that we've kind of estimated within where they were last year, but we might not have spent those line items last year, but we've kept them there because we know we're ever changing and ever growing up there. And again, an increase in the fuel as per the recommendation of the county.
Questions, commissioners? I guess not. Okay. Thank you for coming.
One thing, yep. I see you're getting ready for a carnival.
We are.
Would you remind the people that put the carnival on not to penetrate that new asphalt with anchors?
They do know that that's part of our contract, that they are not allowed to use anchors in the asphalt. That is part of our contract with them.
You don't want to be a $1 billion asphalt.
No, that's part of the contract. No stakes in that asphalt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Congratulations, Commissioner, you got the $1 million asphalt worked into the conversation.
I learned from the.
And we appreciate it. We're taking care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got,
Thank you, guys.
you got other folks coming in for the opioid?
Yes, Lieutenant Raven should be.
I'm public, then
Okay.
I am the public.
You are?
I want to file a complaint.
Yeah, probably true, because I'm not a bar. Okay. I'm not a person of the legal bar.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, all the bars I go to are illegal.
And you know what I do on the 4th of July in Lander? Just so you know. If you don't know, you can ask them. Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
So, Valerie Schoenberger is the person who does the public defender's budget. Actually, I do a lot of the work for them and then ask them for if they're okay with it or not. It's only 2-liner, so, but she is in court today, so I told her that I would, take care of that. Their budget message didn't change. They're apparently busy, so she didn't, do that for me. So I just based it on what we had paid this last year. So rentals of the public defender's offices was at 41,400. We didn't change that. They didn't ask for a change in the rental amounts, so we left it at 41,000. We are going to be over budget a little bit, which is perennial for the public defender's budget. So they had 155,000 in their budget last year, and we're above that right now. So I estimated at 160 because we also do pay out of that fund. This is the portion that we pay to the state. The state does pay a certain percentage, I think, put you on this first page, of defending, and then the 15% is what is derived from a statewide calculation based on county population, number of violent crimes, and other factors, and that number is what we have to pay here at the county. So our numbers continue to go up here in the county, so I put it at 160 for right now, unless I hear something different from them. From the defender's office, usually we get a biennial budget from them, so it's like a 2-year estimate. But it seems like every year it goes up. The other cost that comes out of here is if somebody needs to get transcripts, then we have to pay for those transcripts to be processed.
so total budget request would be, you say 160?
201,400, including their rental of their offices and the 160 that we would have to pay to the state. Yeah, so 200 and last year was a 196,400, so we're up 15, no, yeah, 5,000. If we have any questions, I certainly could send them to Valerie, and I'm sure she will answer you.
Questions, commissioners? All right, thank you. Gambling grant?
Nicole will be down momentarily,
Okay.
and I just texted Lieutenant Reman to let him know that y'all are running early.
There again, we're waiting on Kevin. Yeah. Yeah. He's always texting me during the meetings, giving me some snide remark, that I can't answer, or I can't address.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Register board, are they coming in?
So they are not, but she reminded me when I got the other budget, in fact, I was gonna have Emma, she probably did copy it, but the other budget for you, which is their special district budget, and she said, remember, we sent you another one. So the creditor board, although we said to everybody, we are not getting any miscellaneous or social service budgets, they are required to have one in front of you, and then or not, you fund it or not, then we send them that letter back and they use it for their thing that said, yes, we asked the county and they gave us this, or they did not give us anything. So this is their request this year. So
I've had
7,500.
I've had several phone calls. And I did invite them in. I asked them if they wanted to come in and kind of give us a 15-minute overview of what they've done.
Okay.
I mean,
He said if you needed anything, let her know. So
Yeah.
if you want them in, we could squeeze them in somewhere.
So, yeah, I talked to Rob Philp this morning and I forgot that Village Meats is on that record board. And, Rob said that he could ask the, rock crops and maybe two of the government trappers to come in as well, just kind of give us what they've been doing and what they need the funds.
Not today.
I'll reach back out to Tina and ask her to do that. And then those folks, we can set it aside for a different day.
Okay, I thought they come in, plead their case. But-
Well, we told them we were not going to have any budget requests, but they are required every year to send something in and you reject it or approve it. So that's on me because I asked you and told them no. So now we need to tell them, yes, they would like to see you and get an update.
I think it's part of the state statute that they, have to submit a written request, whether they get funded or not.
And their other budget is here. I mean, if you guys want us to get a copy for you, their overall budget, if you'd like to look at that, that might help you out with this. If you like. If you didn't have Emma get that for you before you leave today.
Okay.
Sorry, Emma, I'm putting that on there. I can do it.
Be great.
I have a couple things while we're waiting.
Okay.
Statutory medical is over as of before today. So I'll be doing a budget hearing next week and that'll probably include the coroner, which we knew, her money will come from her own revenue. I will look at the people who had gotten SOC increases and I'll estimate out how they're doing and see if I need to add any of those in. What else did we have? That we knew, do we have to do anything with these? We already did the reserve, the forest reserve, right? We did that one.
I think we did that one.
Seems like anyway, we'll start looking, I'm sorry. That's the statutory medical, sorry. We'll give you a new name for it and then.
If not,
Statutory medical and Title 25 are the same.
how much over is statutory medical?
It was over by 2,000 before today, so now it's like 8,000 or 9,000 over. So we're going to recommend, two of us did this separately, so we both came up with 50.
That's,
So 50.
You know, last year we finished the year at 231, we budgeted 200, so. Here. 50 will give us.
well,
roughly an official-
hopefully we won't get another surprise bill from Sage West or.
Well, we can reach out to, I'll have Emma reach out to the attorney's office and just see if they're aware of any that are hanging up that we're not aware of. Is it them that does it? Yeah, okay.
2 weeks ago, we got a bill from them for 31,000 or 32,000.
Well, we'll ask them to check with Sage West too then.
Yeah.
I don't know if is that through the sheriff's office, some of those from the sheriff's office?
No.
Okay. Sometimes those are some that they've had too, so anyway, I wanted to let you know that we would be doing that. Also, I sent out to you the next phase of fun to do. Travel policies. Did anybody look at those?
I didn't, I apologize.
I know it's kind of big, but it all goes together. And when Emma's putting these together, I was trying to make it easier for her, and I had put together a travel policy that has all of our stuff in it. So it had the vehicle policy stuff, credit card policies, IRS fringe benefits, some of it's not policy necessarily, and some of this are just examples, so it feels voluminous, but some of it's just examples. So if we could at least look through those, and there's one thing I wanted to add to the vehicle pool, one that I didn't get to do on this because it's a PDF. But I was thinking that those folks who have vehicle accidents, that report should go into their personnel file. I wanted to add that because I think if you have someone who's habitual accident person, even if it wasn't their fault, at least that would be in the file so that we could kind of have an idea for those folks who drive all the time. you know, if that's a problem for their department head and going, geez, how many times have we had an accident? Then that might be a good thing for the personnel file. So I thought about adding that. I know Commissioner Thomas was worried about smoking and the not keeping the cars clean. It is in there. I just don't know that we have any, maybe some penalties for not doing something, but I don't know if it ends up being, hey, Emma, who was, I mean, in our case, for the pool cars, who was the last one that drove the car, but if it's any other car, we don't get to see those, so.
So I was gonna, that's what I was gonna ask, who, reports it if somebody's been smoking in there, or if they, you know, didn't keep the car clean? Who
So,
cleans it?
so I mean, I know he mentioned the a coffee thing, I hope it wasn't the one, but I did literally spill my coffee in my seats of the car. But I went and got a shampoo thing and I tried to shampoo it, and if it needs to be detailed, if it didn't get, I mean, I washed everything down, but I shampooed it. But if it needs to be detailed, I guess, is that on us? Should individually, I mean, I'd be happy to do that if it's the car I drove, but I shampooed it because I knew it was.
May I add something?
Sure.
At public health, we are required to clean our own vehicles if we spill or whatever. It's our responsibility, and I think it should be for every other.
Oh, I do too. I think the person who made the mess ought to clean it up.
Amen.
But I think what happens is I leave, so let's say I need a car 5 o'clock in the morning to go to Rollins, and so I get in the car and I don't know it until I get in the car, and I have to go. So then somebody could go, well, Julie had the car, so I'm just giving you the logistics of how that works, but I mean, maybe there could be some penalty, like if you have numerous complaints that when you had the car, you didn't clean it up and all that stuff, then you are no longer allowed to use the
Right.
county car and you have to go with the lower rate or something. I don't know. Just think about that, on here, so. Mileage reimbursement, I don't know if we haven't set a mileage rate yet. So I thought you might be thinking of that if you want to change the mileage rate. The other thing is, so when can we work on, were we gonna try next week on like all the ideas? So next week on our budget is just a few people, right? So we only have a few budgets next week, so we could start the process of, I will have the budget look at what the whole picture looks like, hopefully by then for you, so we can have an idea where we are, number one. Number two, we could have that conversation about, start having the conversation about getting something done with the COLA or whatever it is. We've got the retirement we need to do, health insurance. We made a decision in our committee that we need to bring forward to you guys on that, just, and those all have to be put into the budgets for everybody. What was I gonna say about, and so I am getting from the other counties what they're doing, and I'm also calculating the stuff that Larry had asked, and also what if the employees only had to pay X amount of their retirement, it's like getting a raise. So I'm showing you what those numbers are too. So, didn't know if that would be helpful or not.
We're gonna talk about the ideas before or after we get the budgets. The final 3 or 4 we have next.
So probably when did they start and when did they quit?
34, you're not free, let's see, in retirement deduction, and if you want to do that after.
As long as we have like a good, at least an hour, I would say. Because here's the rest of the season. What do we have for, I have to advertise for our public hearing on the 29th. It has to be in the newspaper the Saturday before. So, I mean, not just the Saturday before, the 20th. So our last time of of the proposed budget has to be done on the 16th. So that would be good for us to at least have some of that conversation, and then the 16th is all day, all afternoon, whatever we need to do budget stuff, like what do you want, I mean, how does it look? What do you want to do with employees' wages and all that stuff? By then, have at least a balanced budget to go to the paper, just so you guys can kind of get that in your head of what we're looking at.
I'd prefer to do it, just dedicate today for that unless we have something emerging.
First thing in the morning, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know if you've got anything on the 16th already.
We have
Is it all morning? Okay, so the whole afternoon of the 16th would be open for, I know that always messes it up, us up a little bit, but unless you want to move them, but you've probably called all these people by now. Well, let's see how we do next week. So we can work on, how long do you want to work on the SOC and the retirement, health insurance, that whole piece? An hour, hour and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably need to get the health insurance stuff, the Novo Blue Cross Blue Shield are one of Cobra rates, so we could do that next week. I think, you know, we could do it today, but I don't have something spitty to show you today, all right.
I think that's on your list of things to do next week is
Yeah,
health insurance.
it's on the health insurance budget.
Yeah, I need to
So
do
we
it.
could do
Yeah, we can do it at the morning though too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll put the health insurance rates in the morning. Okay, we'll put in at least an hour or an hour and a half. You said, okay, so you didn't tell me which.
Let's, so can we do the retirement and
Health
everything else,
insurance.
all that?
And that
We can schedule an hour and a half if we're
Okay.
short, and great.
we can always go to the afternoon if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we will do that. You have time to do that in the morning? No, probably not.
So we could do the health insurance rates, if it's 950 to 150. Or if not, you have your afternoon budgets.
Let's do the health insurance rates at that time then.
And then the associated retirement discussions on the 16th, just before the first work session.
We don't have any time next week on for that in the afternoon to start the discussion. We'll work on,
Depends on how fast.
or we could have you, we could order in and work over the lunch hour and just keep going.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so we'll work on a plan there.
We're gonna cover all.
Oh,
Well, we haven't had our meeting yet, so
When
it's
we
gonna
do
be
that?
after the fact.
we need to probably,
I don't know, I mean, that's scheduled for me next week to do the budgeting for that, so, I mean, I could swag a budget, or we could wait till the week after.
I can give you, we'll work that out.
when are we gonna meet with the capital revolving committee?
I don't have a date yet, cause I'm just barely getting in stuff from everybody. I know Jared's had some problems getting in some quotes, so I kind of,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. That should show up.
You know, I thought getting here at 4, I was doing good, but I'm sure it's only scheduled for.
I was gonna call you and have to turn the lights and the sirens on, but
You should have. You know, it's like, oh, I'll get there a little early, so to get everybody out there early, if it's ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Walk in and it's empty, so,
Yeah,
you know,
perfect.
it's all right, I can, take it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you weren't waiting too long.
Oh, 45 minutes.
45 minutes, yeah.
All right, well, floor is yours.
Right.
If you want to just give us the highlights of your budget message, we'll go from there.
All right, good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. I'm gonna wing this the best I can. I, did, got a little bit of help with everything. So, last year we, with the opioid funds, helped a few different, entities with, funding. And we're gonna continue some of those. With that, I believe that, at some point, there's gonna be another $89,254, added to the budget.
Do In your red message, it says it will be deposited this fiscal year.
This, I believe that it's gonna be, yes, another into this fiscal year. If I read the email correctly, it's so we get another additional $89,254
So,
dollars.
so Julie, with that, if they deposit that payment in for next year, but if they deposit it in this fiscal year, will we have to do a budget hearing for unanticipated revenue?
I'm gonna let Jim answer this question, because they actually have a total fund balance here of $1.3 million, so. Okay.
We don't need to do a budget hearing if we're not gonna spend it this year.
Okay.
So we can recognize the revenue and it just rolls over as fund balance.
Okay.
So only if something changes in this 439,230, if you have something above that, then we would have to do a budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope, you're fine. This is, new to me and everything too, so, there wasn't an exact, date that it was gonna be, deposited, in the email I got, so, just to highlight a few things, we have both of the K9s, obviously, in the sheriff's, meetings. He's let you guys know that they've been doing some good work, and everything, and at some point after this whole budget time is over, I would like to get with, all of you commissioners, as well as anybody else who wants to, go to the county government and stuff, to do a demonstration with the K9s, so you guys can see them work, and everything. In this budget, we, gave some money to BOA, Riverton Center of Hope. We're gonna, give them the same amount of $164,250 in this upcoming, fiscal year. We also helped with, Eagles Hope, and with $12,000, and we're going to, again, give them another $12,000, for help with funding. Both of those are, two beds at, the VOA Center of Hope, and then Eagles Hope help with, one family, one individual unit. Reference.
Would that be in what line?
Those would fall in, let me find my papers.
Training
Yeah, the
seminars?
contractual.
No, those ones would
Contractual.
contractual clause. I got it. Okay, so,
Yeah, okay, I see it.
yeah. Too many papers. Yes, so those would be under contractual. Also, under the contractual, portion of the funding, we are going to be giving $102,000, to, the treatment courts, to Sage for a position for a CAP or CAPA, the one that, helps do the assessments in the ASIs, with specific, intent of helping with the jails, ASIs, and getting them, their court ordered, substance abuse evaluations. And so Sage has it to where I believe, the $60,000 a year for pay plus $42,000 per year for the benefits, county benefits. For a total of $130,000.
Cast.
Yes, it goes the cast, the treatment program. As well, under, look at my other, for training, we're giving, helping fund training for, cast as well. They're, sending in October, November, sending 6 of their, employees, to Oklahoma or Texas for a training, and that includes travel, airfare, all of that. So, for the thing for them, also in the training budget, will include, monies that, it's split between training plus, equipment and everything, for the canine, travel expenses, stuff for, continued care of the, canines. And then under that as well, we are going to be giving, past $10,000 for, UAs and to help, offset some of their costs for the lab confirmations when they send them off for confirmation if they have a positive, tests. Go into my papers that add for the K9. It helps cover the vet care, all of the equipment for the K9s, as well operating is, yes, as well as the, continued training, and there's, $12,000 that we set aside for the K9s. And that's included in the operations of the training and the continued care for those. And then, under the advertising, finally, so I get it right. The prevention, providing, the 5,000 for Generation X and CDC, prescription awareness campaign, then another 5,000 for total worker health, Let's Talk Wyoming, $5,000, and then 7,000 for the terror of medication, disposal systems and RX, prescription lock boxes. That's gonna go, be transferred to, prevention to help, offset their costs, with that in their budget. I believe that is everything.
What about the machinery and equipment
The
greater?
machinery equipment greater than $90 or $1,000.
Yeah.
I just kept that as the same as what we had before, because we, when we came up with the, Drager machines and the, drug testing machines, for different, substances, that was afterwards, and it was just under $80,000 for those. So if, something comes up, because initially we were looking at getting, 5 total of the Drager machines. So far we've done 2, and, that will help with that cost if we expand, the Drager machines.
So what about, Narcan? Devices?
The Narcan, with the Narcan, that's provided to us already, at no cost, through, I believe it's,
The Department of Health.
Yeah, Department of Health, yes, and everything. But if it comes to a point where we have to use some of our funds for the Narcan, we would be able to, have money available for it.
I just wondered, I was thinking how I could get some of that. Not that I want to take, Narcan, because I'm first responder.
Yeah.
We should have it.
Especially where I live.
Yes,
You know, you have it. Might save a life.
yes. If you, yeah.
I'll
you
get
know,
over Department of Health.
Yeah, and I know that we have some, we're in the process of getting some work, so if we can get that up for the sheriff's office, get some to the fire department out there, we can make sure it happens, but I would agree, I think it needs to be in all fire departments too. Yeah.
Questions, commissioners?
Much, Mr. Chairman, maybe just a quick question. Do the dogs take a special diet for your dogs, for your canines? Do you have a special diet that you have to provide them as part of their upkeep?
They have the handlers have a special food that they were fed, and I don't know what all the details of it are, from when we purchased them from the trader and everything. We kept them on the same diet as what they had with them when they were getting the training, and that food's costs about anywhere between $75 and $100 a month.
Dog food's expensive.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on opioid settlement funding? Do your revenues are about, your revenues are about 439,000 a year
For this year,
for just
uh,
this year?
for this year, last year, it was, I believe, in the 315,000 range, somewhere right in there, but with the addition of, the position for gas for the ASIs and everything, that's what.
And we just got another settlement, this year.
Yes, it's a continued all the way up until 2038, I believe. We will get continued settlements in added money. And this year,
2038, you'll be coming in here with the.
Walker. If I'm still around.
Have them dogs tied to
Oh, and two, I'd like to add, the vehicle that we purchased, with the funds, it is here, they're finishing it up. Vehicle maintenance, and so should be put into loose finance with the fund. So,
Right. Okay. Anything else? You,
You could send me the list, but you had all that breakdown. It would be really good in this budget message. If I can, like, if I can include that in there, that'd be great.
yep, I can do that. I kind of wondered, and then I said I
Our
was
first
winging
time.
it, so,
First time, but it's good information, so
Yep.
I think I'd like to add it.
yep, I will get that added.
Yeah.
you're here for the gambling grant.
Ready? This is just some supplemental information. They give us.
Kevin? Thank you. Yeah. Leave the next one.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioners. For the gambling, the state gambling funds, this budget is a grant that we're given through the Department of Health. This year, our funding allocation, you can see on the second page in the packet of papers I provided you. That's the breakdown of all the funding allocations for each county. So you can see that Fremont County is gonna be awarded the $24,707.41 for the fiscal year. As of right now, we're sitting at about 118 in the account. And so that's just kind of the previous years adding into this. So Wyoming Department of Health gets this and they allocate the money that they're given based on populations. And in my budget message, I did have a typo. I said it was based on the 2021 populations, but they did update it. And this year they based it off the 2024 population of estimates for individuals 18 and older. So that will be our revenue for the year. The expenditure trends, this last year, we just put into place that we're giving Tana the 2.75% of her salary to be paid with these funds that we had talked to you guys about and got approval for. And then we're just gonna kind of continue business as usual with spending the funds for training and advertisement and just trying to spread the message about gambling, the issues that come with gambling and how to kind of get those numbers to be decreased. And then on the two stapled pages that are in this packet, this is strictly or straight from the state, and this is just kind of their ideas that they have put together for ways that we're able to use these funds. So they're just kind of the basis of where everyone kind of started and then what were the guidelines we're kind of following for spending this funding.
Cool. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
so, the fund is building up a little bit, do you have a list of how your, the expenditures and what you're spending? And I'm thinking some of this would be like towards advertising.
Yeah.
This is like,
Yeah,
yeah, so,
the majority has been.
Yeah. Mr. Maybe Commissioner Jones. So
there you
hopefully that will be helpful to you. You might want this as well. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's just what I've looked for a snapshot. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. I don't really need you to go through it all, I just, was curious.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else?
It's easy.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Good
Thank you
information.
guys. Well, I'm glad you guys get to go home early.
Yeah, me too.
Always come at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're motivated.
Can I add something that I forgot?
No.
Well. The Drager machines and the drug testing machines should be here sometime in the near future. I haven't got any of the shipping information, but they have been ordered from the company, so.
Is there quite a delay? I mean, like you order them and in 30 days they ship them, or maybe their stocks, their supplies down?
The talking in the email communication, it was they were available there, it was just the company said. So it's just a matter, he told me to let him know when they got here, and that was a week and a half ago, and they're not here yet, so they hopefully sometime soon get them put to use.
Okay. Good enough. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Recap.
So Tony, are we changing your, or?
Well, it says, people are working on license, know that Tony has received those, so I'll get those all taken care of, sent out. I will work, I do want to do the 8th of June for the diversion down discussion. I will work with Julie to get in contact with the credit party on board to get them on the schedule. Eventually for an update. And that's about it.
Good. Commissioner,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming early, Kevin.
So, I was saying that, the board meeting.